Ladies and gentlemen, CocoSports.com proudly presents Wrestle AM. It's half wrestling show, half morning show, but all BS. And of course, you got yours truly, sexiest man on all of wrestling. Boom, boom, here, second room, live from the RVA, Richmond, Virginia. Of course, kids, it's been 1 week since we've seen arguably one of the greatest wrestling matches this year, perhaps of even all time. Talking about Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada. Their fourth encounter at New Japan Pro Wrestling's Dominion took place last weekend. And, you know, if it's any indication of how good a match it was, it's 1 week later and we're still talking about this. But, kids, there's just a tad bit of controversy with this, and it made me inclined to do this considering, you know, I'll explain why in just a second. Dave Meltzer, you know, famed wrestling journalist, awarded this – sorry, my cat wanted to join here gave this 7 stars on a 5-star scale. Now, this is no stranger, you know, this encounter has been no stranger to controversy. Their first ever encounter at Wrestle Kingdom 11, a little over a year ago. He awarded that the first encounter at Wrestle Kingdom 11 6 stars on his 5-star scale. Their second encounter at Dominion last year, 2017, that went to a 1-hour time limit draw, he gave that a little bit better. I believe it was 6 1/4 star because he said it was just a little bit better than their first encounter. And then their third encounter at the G1 tournament last summer, gave that I believe he gave that another 6 stars. So the bar was obviously set high. And these two athletes, these two gladiators, went at it for over an hour. If you go by the official time, it was just over 64 minutes. If you want to go total time, including the rest periods, it was just over 69 minutes. Epic match, however you want to put it. But he just went above and beyond and gave it 7 stars on his 5-star scale. And the goddamn internet lost their fucking minds. So I'm going to talk about, just talk about this briefly. And here's my opinion of it. A lot of people are like, oh, you know, you're losing credibility. I mean, this is a joke, you know, nobody's ever going to take you seriously again. And to this, I say, who the fuck cares? Look, Dave Meltzer has, you know, he kind of painted himself in a corner. You know, when he had that first encounter, he gave it 6 stars. And then you had the next match, which he says a little bit better. He had, okay, well, I can't go back down to 5. I've already set the precedent here at 6. So we give it 6 1/4. And it's like, well, this one wasn't as good. And, you know, and then he gets this one was arguably, I mean, you got to admit, let's just throw the whole star scale out the window just for a second. Do you think like their fourth match was like the best of all the matches they've had together so far? If the answer is yes, I mean, you could at least agree that was probably the best match those two have had. Out of the 4 matches they've had, could you at least argue? Let's just throw the star scale out the window for a second. Do you think that was the best match? And you know, like, oh, okay, yeah, there you go. So, but here's the thing: it's Dave Meltzer's scale. Dave Meltzer has said there is no formula for his star rating system. It's solely based off his opinion, and. You know, and again, it's his opinion. So fine. He created the scale. It's his opinion. He's entitled to do whatever he wants. And I don't think if he wants, you know what? It's his fucking scale. If he wants to give it 10 stars out of 5, that's his prerogative. If he wants to give it 20 stars out of 5, that's his deal. I don't care. If he wants to give it -5 stars on his scale, that's his deal. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't influence anything. You know, wrestling doesn't have like any kind of version of the Emmys, the Tonys, the Grammys, the Oscars. His star rankings is not going to have any influence. It's not like, you know, they're going to get everybody, all the wrestling companies together and like an award for best match, you know, and boom, there you go. They're going to walk up and accept a statue. That's not going to happen. It's not going to affect money. It's not going to affect bonuses. It's not like, you know, Kenny Omega is going to walk into like New Japan's office and goes, well, look here. According to Dave Meltzer scales, I've had the 4 best matches in the history of professional wrestling. I think that's worth some more money. No, that's not going to happen. It's not going to influence anything. I mean, it's not like a wrestler is going to go get on their website and go, well, I've had 2 matches ranked 5 stars by Dave Meltzer. No, nobody cares. So it's his opinion. It doesn't influence anything, so let him have it. I mean, it's no different than me giving an opinion on it. And I mean, yes, Dave is a lot more high profile but you know, it's his scale. And it doesn't influence anything. And you know, and like criticism is just like anything. It's an opinion. I mean, look, and there's a lot of people. Well, you should have went to 5. Okay. It was 5. Okay, it was 5. So what? Who cares? I mean, look at things like criticism and what people think are good, what people think are bad. I mean, it's just all subjective. Go to like Rotten Tomatoes. Go look up like the worst ranked movies of all time on the Rotten Tomatoes scale. I guarantee you there's at least one movie on there. When you're looking down the scale of worst rated movies on Rotten Tomatoes, you look at go, oh, not one movie. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't that bad. Same thing with wrestling. And then people have called him a New Japan fanboy, and I'm like, that's kind of ironic coming from WWE fanboys. But here's another thing. If I guarantee you, if WWE, if Impact, if Ring of Honor, if Progress, if CMLL, AAA, ICW, WXW, any of these other promotions had a match of that caliber, I guarantee you Meltzer would give it 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or however many fucking stars. So, I mean, that's all there is to it. So I just enjoy the meltdown, people yelling, screaming into webcams, you know, about this. So it's just an opinion, and I wouldn't take it too seriously. So that's my opinion on it. Now, as far as what I'm thinking about the match itself, Dominion as a whole, you're going to have to tune in next time because Dave Coco will be back. We're going to talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling. We're going to talk about Dominion. We're going to talk about the fallout from that. We're going to talk about where they go from here, our theories on what's going to happen to the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, where we think they're going to go with the G1 Climax tournament. A lot of crazy stuff. Who could possibly be in that? Who's going to be in? Who's going to be out? Also, we are going to review Lucha Underground Season 4. Just started this past week. If you have not seen that, I would recommend checking that out so you can be on the up and up. And real quick here, I want to give a shout outs to Mike Soul. Yeah, let's pretend I can talk this time. Mikhail, I think I was going to say Texeria, but I don't think that's right. And I fucked that up. I don't want to try to like butcher his name anymore. My apologies. But yes, thank you for joining us along with Anger Fist, cool name by the way, and Zach Rowe, one of the longtime members of the Internet Infantry. As far as when we're going to do this, well, that's where you're going to have to like and subscribe to this page and hit that notification bell because Dave and I, what can I say? Real life gets in the way of the internet, so we're just going to kind of do things when we can, however we can. So that's why I say be sure to give it thumbs up. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and be sure, stay tuned. So the boom just went banging. I am out.